toughest time I've ever went through in my life. And I'm glad to have family and friends here to celebrate my mom. So, this service is being called funeral, memorial service, homecoming, if you're saved, celebration of life. There's a lot of different things it's called. We really want to celebrate my mom today, right? Because we can talk about the sad stuff, but we want to talk about the happy stuff, the stuff that she brought joy in this life. And it's a testament to the kind of woman she was. Just seeing all you guys here today, right? That's a testament that she was a really great person. She was a great mom, great wife, great mother-in-law, great grandmother, great friend, great co-worker. She was a great woman, and there's a lot of memories that I have over my years, with my mom, and a lot of great memories. It's unfortunate she's not here, but I don't have any remorse about my mom, about I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have said this. I don't have it, because my mom and I, we communicated a lot. And she gave me validation that she loved me and cared about me. I never have to wonder, because she validated that for me all the time. Her last week in the hospital before she went to hospice, we were able to spend almost a whole day, just me and her in the hospital. And during that day, she even was validating with me that how a great son I was to her. And it was tough, but like I said, I left that hospital knowing that, I know my mom's gonna pass. I know she's going to heaven. I know she's not gonna be in any more pain. And I know she's gonna be able to see her mom and her dad and her brothers. I know that, and that's great, but I'm still selfish too, right? I still miss that relationship I have with my mom. And there's a lot of moments I can talk about, but there's one situation and moment that I would like to talk about with my mom. So when I was 12, my mom and dad got a divorce. And my mom struggled a lot because she was a single mom now. We had a mortgage. We had a car that broke down all the time, so she was always paying money to get it repaired. And my mom really valued my education. She sent me to a private Christian school since I was in kindergarten, right? And she paid a lot of money for that, because she wanted me to have the best education and to be able to hear the word every day. And during this time, when my mom and dad were divorced, she struggled because she still was paying for me to go to private school, and still paying for the mortgage. And whereas one time the car broke down, it was going to cost a lot of money to fix. And it was a summer, I remember this, it was a nice summer day. It was on a Saturday, my mom woke up and woke me up and said, we're going to get a new car today. So for me as a kid, I'm like, okay, we're getting a Camaro, right? what are we getting? We're getting something nice, something sporty. And she was like, I can't afford that, right? We're going to the Dollar Store. We can't afford that. And so she picked out a new car, and very basic, but it had a cassette player. That was the first one she had with a cassette player. So for you younger kids, a cassette player, like a CD, it's an CD that was an improvement from the 8-track. And the 8-track was something that, as everybody knows, nobody had an 8-track that worked 100% right. There was always something with the 8-tracks that was wrong. We had to put something to get it working right. But she had this, her first car with a cassette player. So she was like, I don't have any cassettes. Let's go to Tower Records. Everybody remember Tower Records? Right? So let's go to Tower Records and let's get a cassette so we can have for a drive. So Patrice Rushen just came out with one of her albums. She bought that cassette, and my mom was like, you know what? Let's go for a drive. She goes, matter of fact, let's go home, pack up a bag, let's drive down to the Oregon coast, right? So my mom was always doing things like that on the whim. I was like, great. So what I want you guys to picture, I like everybody to close your eyes. Everybody just close your eyes with me. I want to take you back to I experienced, okay? So imagine it's a summer day in the 80s, light breeze. We're driving down 101 the coast. The ocean is on our right-hand side. The windows are down. You smell the water from the ocean coming in. And in the background, you hear this music that's playing now, Patrice Rushen. And you look to your left, and the person you love the most in your life is driving. And it's just you two. This was a fantastic memory that I had as a kid. You guys can open your eyes. So this trip was so unique to me and special because my mom and I had a great time that weekend, but it was a time where we validated to each other, we're all we got. This is our family. My mom and me, that's it. And as a kid, I knew that there were gonna be changes, right? No dad, financially we're having problems, there was gonna be some changes. And when we got back, I told my mom first thing, I said, Mom, I'm ready to go to public school. I really, I appreciate everything you did for me, but I'm ready to go to public school. Because I want to take that financial burden off my mom. And we had to sell our house and rent a house. And the house that I was in since I was 12, and all my friends were on the same block. I knew everybody, went to the church in the area. Now that's gone, right? I'm gonna have to adjust to that. And I know my mom struggled on taking me to school, and I learned how to ride the city bus. I got a bus pass. I knew how to get around. My mom gave me a key to the house so I could do that. I taught myself and learned how to cook so I could do my own lunches when I got home. I would do my own dinner. I tried to do whatever I could to support my mom because she has supported me for 12 years and she was struggling. And I wanted to make sure that as her son, I did the best I can to take as much weight off of my mom as possible. And, being 12 years old, I got a lot of growing up to do, right? But this is something that I wanted to do because I know how my mom loved me so much. And if I didn't step in and say that, my mom would have continued to work hard, long hours, just to send me to school. And I just didn't want that. I'd rather have that time with my mom, right, than her being at work to send me to the school. And, public school was great. At JJ public school I went to, we're still friends. So it's, like I said, it was tough, it was a transition, but it was right for all of us to do that, right? And so that moment, every time that I hear that song, the song title is Remind Me. Every time to this day, I hear that song, I think about that moment, driving with my mom, with the ocean to the right of us. That's what I think about at that moment. And I cherish that moment. I do, I cherish it. My mom has taught me a lot growing up, right? And there's so much stuff that I could talk about, but, she taught me a lot. She taught me how to be a man, and I know everybody's with single moms, but my mom, she taught me how to be a man. She was there for me when I needed it. She was my support. To this day, I'm having troubles, and I just want to pick up the phone and I can't. And that's the hardest part, right? Is that missing. It's the hardest part that I have. She wouldn't want us to be sad. She would want us to be happy. And that's why we're calling this a celebration of life, right? We want to celebrate those times. And everybody here will have an opportunity today, I hope, to share some of the good moments that you have with my mom. I really do hope that she'll get that. And, there's something I learned about this whole tragedy that I went through with my mom, is that all my life, with my dad and society, Everybody's telling me that as a man, you don't show your emotion. You're not vulnerable as a man. You don't show your feelings with that. And what I learned over this ordeal is that that's totally wrong. The strength comes from someone who can share their emotions. The strength comes from someone who is open to show someone their feelings, who can't be vulnerable, right? That is what makes a man. That is what makes a strong person. It's not hiding the feelings, it's sharing your feelings. And when you can do that, that's the strength from within, right? The judgment-free zone. That comes from being strong. And that's something that